Right guys, so we are back in the Dune Desert. I've got a small little factory I need to make. Well, fairly smallish. It's nothing too serious. So if I look at Satisfactory modeler, right, so we're going to need 10 constructors doing the Caterium wire, and then we're going to need 15 constructors doing copper sheets. So, and all these, the copper being produced here that isn't being used up by the copper powder one, that's going to go into here via the bus here at the bottom. But what I wanted to do first is I've made this circle here. See the circle? This is kind of like what everything is based off. So if I go down here, you can see this is where the original circle is. I just took a foundation and I kind of like decided which one of these I'm going to use, and that will determine the angle at which this building will be facing inwards. And so this building is going to be similar to this one, because what I'm going to do is, because I need 25 constructors in total and I want like this tower build. You can see this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors. I'm going to do 5 floors again, but I'm only going to do 5 constructors, where for this one's got I think 6, so similar size. So let me place the first constructors, and I've got this little blueprint I've been testing out. And I think I need auto right. Let's see. Yeah, I need this one. So how this blueprint works, you can see I've already got the belts and everything in here. So this is designed to be used with auto connect. If you place this down, that means that everything gets done for you except for the power. And then obviously you just need to find a way to feed it. Oh, let me place this first one. So you can see at the bottom I've got my logistics floor set up. So that's going to be 2 walls. This one's going to be 3 walls to have clearance, so I can put in lights and whatnot. Then we're going to have another logistics floor. So you can see we get 2, and then we need 3 above that. So there's our... So that's floor 1, floor 2. So this is going to be the start of floor 3. So I'm just going to go up 5. That's another floor. It's going to be up there, and that's going to be the final floor. So pretty much the same height as the other one. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so I'm going to flesh out these floors quickly, and I'll be back with you as soon as all of these guys are in. Right, so we got 5 floors in now. That didn't take any time at all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the one thing I noticed is that sometimes they don't auto-connect, but I think that's just because I tried to place them too fast. So like I say, I'm still working on this blueprint to see how we can utilize this. Maybe I should just pre-build 5s, like 2s and 3s and 5s, just to make my life a little easier. But yeah, there we go. So this blueprint has got these little ring lights already set around it. And then at the bottom, it's got the yellow lights set around it. And it's got these little nodes that you connect for power. So, the next thing we need to figure out is how to... So the ore will come in at the bottom here somewhere. We could do a waterfall thing like that, but I don't really want to repeat the same design. So the one thing we can do is we can still do like that waterfall lift, but maybe on the sides. Because if I look at Satisfactory modeler, we're going to have 600 copper ore coming in and 300 ingots, Caterium ingots. So we're going to have 2,800, let me have a look here, 2,886, well 87 if we round it off, divided by 780. So we're going to have 4 belts almost full of copper wire coming down, and only 300 copper sheets. So it's going to be, trying to think how we can do this. We can maybe have the 5 come down on this side so we can extend a little bit forward. We can always remove the first one and add it onto the back, and then have that conveyor waterfall thing come. Yeah, I think let's do that actually. Because we've got a little bit more of a display area on this side, because there's a big open gap here as opposed to here, you can be stuck between the buildings. I think we'll have the products coming down on this side, and we'll have the raw items going up being distributed. Yeah, we can do that. So all of these items will be, they're going to have to be funneled up and then down, because otherwise you're going to only have conveyor belts dropping in here every now and then. So we're actually going to have 2 rows coming up and down. So it should look interesting. You kind of have it like this, where they come up and over. So it's probably going to be... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. It's a good thing we moved the machines up because it's going to be a lot of belts going up and down here. Right, so we're going to go right next to this wall. So let's go all the way down. There we go. So the inside one is not really going to be a display. I think I'm just going to wall that off with something. Only the outside, because the inside you're going to feed up here, and then you're going to feed in there, and then you're going to feed in there. So it's going to be uneven going up. But I think coming down is going to look really cool. So we need to put this one in here. But yeah, we need to have it like that. And then this little trick, which I think was a bug. But the developers were like, oh no, this is so good, we're just going to leave it in. So they just decided we're just going to leave this in because it looks so good. The bug has ironically become a feature. So if you aim down there, yep, you can see you can... I'm not sure if there's actually a limit to how far you can go. I suppose there is some sort of hard limit. But as you can see, you can go pretty damn far with these. I'm just thinking that when we add these, they're going to stick through a little bit. So we actually might need a bit of a gap between these. So annoyingly, we're going to have to do this section a little bit again. Right, so we've got this in here. So we've got, so at the logistics floor, we're going to have these kind of like hook into them. So it's going to look like that, and then this guy's going to come around, hooking in there. Yeah, I think the half is perfect, so it doesn't interfere with this one at all. Okay, yeah, I think we'll do that. Alright, I'm going to do all the other lines, and I'll be back with you guys once I'm done there. Right, so we got these in. That kind of looks interesting. We need to get 2 lines coming up, which is going to be the lines that provides all the raw material. So we pretty much going to do the same thing. So this is not going to be a display of any sorts. There we go. Okay, so we've got supplies coming in, and we've got the finished product going down. So let me hook up all of these. I'm going to get power onto the building, so I stop falling every now and then when I go a bit too far out. So I'll yeah, let me quickly hook up everything, and I'll be back with you guys in a moment. So that's going to be 289. That's let's call it 290. So 290 times 5 is going to be more than one belt can handle. So we're actually going to have 2 connections going out. So I'm basically going to do, let's see, 3. Wow, okay. So 2.5. There we go. So what we just saw here is the amount of wire being produced. It's not going to be enough for one belt. So we're going to have this factory start backing up. So we need to have 2. We need to have 2 points of exit for the wire, and then 2 points of entry onto the conveyor lift here. And we're going to be using 3 of these. So we've got, so this is going to be kind of interesting because see, we've got a little bit of a logistics dilemma now. So we've got 3 here, and that's going to be 2. We've got 5 Ethereum wires, which is going to be the copper wires coming through here, but we need 2 belts to go into there. And then we've got another bunch, and we've got 2 belts going into there. But we only got 3 belts in total for them. So what we're going to have to do is actually we're going to do a little bit of a balance here. And we're going to have this 2 outputs going into 3 different conveyor lifts. So let me scratch around a little bit. I'm going to find an elegant solution for this, and then as soon as it's done, I'll come and show you guys what it looks like. Right, so I got a couple of temporary sinks in here just to make sure everything's working fine. and as you can see, things are happening. So the solution I had, because let's present the problem first. So the problem was there are copper sheets being made here, here, and on this line. That's easy. So copper sheets are going to go into this left-hand one, and they're all going to be just well, for now they're going to be sunk, but they'll be for future use for this big building that we're going to be placing right here. But the copper sheets are just easily adding it to a merger, and then just gets merged as it goes up. Easy peasy. Right, the problem here is we've got 5 machines pumping out a lot of wire. So doing 289 each. And we've got another 5 up here doing the same thing. And all of these, well, preferably would like to be balanced so it looks nice when it goes down on the other side of this waterfall. But I've got 5 machines here that need to be balanced into 4. And I've got another 5 being balanced into 4. And then all we have to do is just have a couple of mergers and just have them merge up in there. So, fairly easy, straightforward. Now, to get the balancing going, what I did was 2.5 machines basically can almost fill up a 780 belt. 3 machines definitely fills up a 780 belt. So what I did was I actually have one here, so this is a splitter. So this one splits off into these 2 and it comes out on that side, so there's 2.5 here, and then splits off to this side and there's 2 full machines here, so 2.5 here, circles back and goes into just a normal lift, and then the lift splits it into 2 lines, and these 2 lines, so the 5 goes into 2 lines, the 5 goes into 4 lines, and the 4 lines goes into just merges onto that line. And then I did exactly the same at the bottom here. So this is now balanced from 10 to 4 lines, and then the 4 lines meet up in this one here. And then those 4 lines will each carry 725, with obviously the max being 780 on the line itself. So 725 going down all the way to here. And the reason it's chucking along is because I don't have enough splitters, so we can quickly, enough sinks. We can quickly solve that just by doing this. Once we give them a moment, there should be like small gaps coming in here, because the 780 line will be transferring 725, so there's going to be some gaps here and there. Alright, so now that all the machines are in and working, we're going to have to figure out how to make this building look interesting. So it fits in nicely with these ones in here. So I'm definitely going to go for kind of like the maybe yellow or orangey vibe, just to kind of fit in with the rest of the world. I'm going to try and do white and orange, but I'm not sure how to do or what we're going to do there. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Right, I'll be back in a few. Let me fill out the rest of the floors here, just so we can see what we're working with, and then we're going to see how we're going to decorate this. Alright, so as you can see, we've got all the floors in now. I removed the wall in the front, and with everything hooked up, we kind of need to figure out exactly how we're going to design this building. So I think the first thing we need to focus on, which is going to be the main part, is going to be this waterfall conveyor system. So I think let's get some glass up here, just so we can start somewhere. So I'm thinking something like this. Let's go move this back in a bit. Okay, so we've got a base to snap things off from now. I'm going to use this wall frame, or full frame window. Now the problem is, you can see we've got a little bit of a discrepancy here. So we can either just go in the middle, but then you're going to lose a little bit of that belt and a little bit of that belt. You can stand outside and look at it. The alternative is we can do a little bit of an overlap. Let's see what it looks like. So that's not too bad. It kind of looks like it's just an accent piece on the side. Looks like it looks intentional. So let's see it at scale. Yeah, it kind of works. Right, I'm going to take it all the way up. Right, that's the one. And then what we want to do is, I want to I want to have like side, like a metal pillar but going to the side, just to give this a little bit of a decoration instead of being basically like that. And let's see how we're going to do that. I might have to do a blueprint for it. So I think something like this. I think let's make a blueprint for it because it's going to be, we're going to have to put it in a couple of times. We want it to be on the edge, to this one on the edge, and we can then have this one intersect like this. Is that going to go all the way? No. Something like that. And this will essentially, so if you remove the bottom ones, that's kind of the design we're going to go for. I still want to do something that's going to make this look a little bit more interesting. Just trying to think what we can do. We can maybe try something like that with just an alteration or a slight variation. That could work. Okay, I'm going to test a few things and I'll be back again. Okay, so we kind of settled on a design. Kind of like a little bit of a zigzag, a little bit, not randomness, but just adding a little bit of unpredictability, if you like. Alright, so we need to do the front bit as well, and I'm trying to think about what we can do in the front. We can maybe do something with the vents. And as you can see here, this section here kind of chows into the build here, which I think looks kind of interesting. And I want to lean on that a little bit, or lean into it, and do like basically like a corner piece. There we go. We'll have to remove the foundations here just because it's currently interfering a little bit. And you know what we can do actually? We can continue this section on here by doing this. I think this will look kind of interesting. It's just a pity it doesn't line up perfectly. That is a shame, but maybe what we can do is just move these walls back a bit so they do actually line up, or at least line up close enough to sell the idea of a wraparound. So I think that kind of looks interesting. Okay. Right, it's not too bad. Now, something I want to do in the front here is kind of like we can do an elevator in front and kind of use the similar ones there with like the orange wraparound. So I think if we slap an elevator right here in front, some of them are going to go directly onto the production floor, and then on the lodger floor we're going to have to do like a little side exit, which means we also have to compensate for that when it comes to whatever we're going to wrap around this. I was kind of hoping that that we can do all facing inwards, but it's just not practically possible. I'm still not sure how we're going to do the integration with the road. We could just come out here and just keep this entire section open. So if I would grab tarmac, just to integrate it with the road, we can maybe do some sort of structure here that comes out a little bit and then up, just so it's not just like elevator glass and driving area. Otherwise it's going to look a little awkward. Okay, so integration of the road is kind of a thing. We'll do like something here. Right, so the back side we're going to do stairs. Okay, so it just goes down 2, so that's fine. So let's do the same here. And I think we can do a glass section going all the way up. So when you're on the stage, you actually got a little something to look at. So we'll use kind of default always to this one, but I'm always looking for opportunities to use the other ones as well, which doesn't always happen. This one is just so versatile, it just kind of fits everywhere. Alright, so we got a little bit of a back section going now. I was thinking of flaring it out a little bit. Kind of like have like a little bit of a shape like this coming out. Let's try something. I don't want to lean too heavily into the metal pillars the whole time, but it kind of seems like we're defaulting to that the whole time. Not necessarily a bad thing. Let's do 10 meters and just see what it looks like on a larger scale. Okay, it's simplistic, but I think it works. We'll see if we can maybe add some layers to it just to make it look interesting. But I think as a foundation for a wall segment, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that works. I might even take it out another pillar width. Kind of like this. I have to figure out what we're gonna do about that little section sticking out there, but that's not a problem really. Something we can do here is kind of what we did there. Is get those, I think I call them protrusions. Kind of do that, but at intervals perhaps. Play with it a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it could work. It could work. Alright, I'm going to see what I can do with the sides. And then as soon as I figure that out, I'll show you guys kind of like what was the idea. I've got a couple of things I want to test. Maybe do something kind of similar to this, but just add a little bit of a flair to it. We'll see. I'm going to test a few things and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright, here we go. I've kind of skipped a step or two. Sorry about that. But I got so into the build that before I saw, I was actually kind of done with it. So let's quickly just wrap up exactly what I did. So at the back side, you guys saw that I did these kind of like protrusions coming out. And then these little guys I added in here with the little orange bits here. That's actually from that building over there. So you see them there, and I basically just took that blueprint and just stuck it on the back here just to add some more color to the rear end. This is also going to light up at night. So if we make it quickly nighttime, you can see it kind of pops out a little bit. So that's kind of cool. So we did the protrusions coming out and basically covered up that entire wall that we did earlier. But I think this looks cool. It looks kind of interesting. And then for the window sides, it's basically I just use these glass panes, so full frame window, and just did the entire side. But then when I had a look over here on that side, I was like, oh, that looks a little samey. So let's mix it up. So I did this little diagonal bit, and all I did was I attached a beam on that side, and I attached a beam on that side, and I just took the pillars and snapped it to it, and just nudged them in position and just moved them across. And then all you have to do is just kind of like, actually, let me demonstrate this quickly. You grab that pillar, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you just drag it across. And then you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you just drag it across, and you just keep doing that until you, let's see if I can get the right button. There we go. Until you get all of these in, and it kind of looks interesting with the little diagonal lines. Just gives the building a bit more character, and it kind of mixes in with this sections here. So I actually went and made a blueprint because I was struggling to get these even, and I made this blueprint which actually turned out quite nice, and I made this uniform. So you can see it lines up with this little ring bit going around the elevator. And then it goes up to the side, and then it kind of matches the diagonal beams across the window. So I think it complements the build quite nicely. So I just stacked all of these on top of each other for that little display area, and I put a big, I think it's a billboard in the back, and just gave it an orange color, and that kind of shines through. So it just makes it look interesting, especially at night. Alright, then coming to the elevator, I just added these little orange bits in here, and again, one of my favorite stuff to use now is these beams. So this is just a normal H beam. Gave this a color. So for this one, all I did was just went up like this, grabbed another beam of a different color, just turn it around 90 degrees, and we've got this interesting looking little decoration piece that I'm kind of like using almost everywhere now. And then just slap on some lights, line it up with this whole light here, so it kind of looks like it was meant to be from a distance. And then just breaking it up a little bit with these single little square lights or square signs, which again, all these kind of like neon RGB kind of stuff, that's all just signs for those who don't know. And then on this side, I did kind of the same thing, but because we don't have a display out here, I just kind of like built out this little section here with this little 45 bit. And all this is you just take this one, move it across in its width, and then back in its width. And I see with this one, I actually mixed it up a little bit. I just went in by 1. And then once that's in there, you just need to turn this guy at whatever angle kind of suits you. For me, this is going to be, I think it's like a 45 almost. Well, it could be. Just going to call it 45 now. And then on this side, same story, just kind of like the diagonal lines. And then I took the orange kind of like section going all the way around. And then the one thing that we did change though is Criterion was supposed to be coming in from the bottom and then going all the way up. But my Criterion mine, or at least kind of like to right up, there's one there. And if we look over here, there's another one there. So I didn't want to do like roads or anything like that. I thought that might just be too much for 300 Caterium. So obviously drones is going to be the best option. So we actually got one of our little buddies scooting in here, and then you can see the one is going to leave on that side. Oh, they're all landing at the same time. Perfect. Good timing. Good job, boys. Right on cue. I like it. So the one drone is going to go to that one over there, and this drone is going to go to that one over there, and they're just going to go back and forth. And then you can see there's two drone ports there. One is going to be the refuel one, and then one is going to be the actual Caterium. So these guys will just keep going basically non-stop. So they drop off the Caterium here, as you can see right there. That then gets merged onto a line and goes all the way and then goes down. And you can see this is the top section of where the lift section that goes across and then down, so up and down. This is the top section for that. And we can actually grab the elevator from here. Okay, here we go. And then from here, this is all just for production floors. So I'm going to go to the top production floor. And here you can see all the wire coming up, just going absolutely nuts. And then all these floors are exactly the same. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 constructors. In this case, these guys are doing Caterium 2 wire, which is alternative recipe. And then if we go down here, you can just kind of see this is where the balances come in. And they are doing their thing. As you can see, it's a nice even split of items being balanced. Right. So we're going to head back up here, and I'm going to skip all the other floors because they're all exactly the same. Here's the Caterium coming down. Oh, I think we missed one. Hold on. Let's fix this quickly. There we go. Voila. Alright, so we're going to go down to the almost last floor. 8 meters. And the cool thing is here you can actually get a nice view of the city. Well, the growing city. And next up I think we're going to do a big central storage, followed by rubber and plastic that we need to do. Alright, so we've got, obviously there's nothing here, so the upper floors will feed into the top section, which then feeds out to the front. And again, like I say, we just got more constructors in here, and we've got logistics access at the back. And then here we got the copper coming in, which is going to be coming from those towers over there. Each one of them does, oh, it's a bit of flickering in there. I think it's because I'm looking through a window, at a window. Let's test this hypothesis. Yep, I think that's an unreal thing. Anyway, so we've got a bunch of copper factories there at the back. They're producing a ton of stuff. It goes into this building right here, which is a copper powder, and then whatever's left over comes in, well, at least a portion of that comes in here, and then feeds up all these machines. And then we've got our little entrance here, and that's pretty much it. So we've got, I might do something here to have like a car park of sorts, because you see the road's going to come past this way and then link up to this circle we've got here. And I still need to do something here that's going to be interesting. Maybe have some sort of I don't know, display. Maybe one of the statues can go up there. It would be nice if we could actually plant like plants or greenery, because I would definitely make like a little garden area right here. But anyways, right, so that's this build for today, and I think it came out quite nice. It very much fits the theme here. I might change some of the colors around here just to have it not as orangey, but for now I think this is perfect. I'm going to give it a day or two and see how I feel afterwards, but I'm quite happy with this build. It wasn't designed to be some sort of masterpiece, but I think it came out quite nice. But yeah, that's it. So as usual, I'd just like to thank my patrons. Your guys' continuous support allows me to build these kind of builds, to dedicate the time to make the various blueprints. And speaking of blueprints, it will be available on my Patreon, and you guys can go and grab it there. I'm actually working on, I've got about 2 or 3 really good blueprint sets for similar to these kind of like stackable factories. I've got some of those blueprints coming in soon. Be sure to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description as well as the pinned comment. So yeah, that's it for this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.